Week 5, here we go. We are in the middle of a series called Can I Ask That here at VCRC Youth. It's a series where we're talking about some hard things, hard questions. Maybe they're not hard questions to give a quick answer to, but maybe they're a little more difficult to articulate your thoughts on. Maybe they are a challenge to answer and you're thinking about some new difficult questions for the first time. Who knows? What I do know is that we've got a new question for this week, and here it is. Is Jesus really the only way to God? Now, I try not to answer our questions here in my videos because I want to make sure that you as a group are able to answer them for yourselves. But this week I'm going to answer the question. Yes, Jesus is in fact the only way to God. I know this because he tells us in John 14:6. And if we can't believe everything he says, then we can't believe anything he says. And he said it, and as Christians we believe that means that it's true. But what I really want us to talk about is the Christian perspective of who Jesus is. Let me explain that with a story from our Fuller study here. Jamal and Chris had always been friends, but their arguments were getting personal. "I feel like you're saying that I'm going to hell," Chris said with anger. His conversations with Jamal about God had been lighthearted until now, but Chris was tired of Jamal making him feel like his Mormon faith was inadequate. "I'm sorry, but I think Mormonism is wrong, Chris," Jamal answered. "And it's not for me to decide who is going to heaven or who is going to hell. Only God does that. But I believe that the only people who will go and be with God forever are those who believe in that Jesus is Lord." "But I do believe in Jesus," Chris responded. "Not the same way I do," Jamal replied. Chris and Jamal decided not to talk to each other for a couple of days. When they saw each other again, it was over lunch with some other friends. Susanna, who claimed to be kind of Jewish, joined in the conversation. "I don't understand why you're arguing about which religion is better," Susanna said. "The only thing that matters is that you believe in some version of God and be a loving person. All religions are basically the same idea with different names." "I agree with Susanna," Martin added as he plopped down beside them with his lunch. "This is exactly why the world will never be at peace. Religious fights will never help us get along with one another." Jamal had heard at his church that he needed to be committed to Jesus and Jesus alone, but he didn't know how to respond to Chris, Susanna, or Martin. See, some people would have it that, yeah, sure, Jesus might be the only way to God, but what if all these religions are right? They just have a different name for this Jesus person or a different perspective of him. All religions are pretty much the same anyway. See, how Susanna explained it is how a lot of people see religion, even some Christians. She said all that matters is that you believe in some version of God and be a loving person. There's a good chance that you already have an opinion about this. There's a good chance that you disagree with Susanna. But do your actions say the same thing your words do? Does your life reflect your perspective? Or maybe you didn't really know how to express it before, but you kind of feel the same way Susanna does. Aren't we just supposed to love God and love other people? Isn't that the crux of Christianity? A lot of people think that. A lot of other religions think that. So isn't that kind of good enough? Wherever you stand on this big question will have a big impact on how you live your life. And that's what I want to talk about tonight. Let's challenge our own thoughts. Let's challenge one another. Let's ask that big question together. Is Jesus really the only way to God?